Hey guys, it's me. Good morning. I just wanted to make a little video today about something that I have put a lot of thought into, but which I recently had a conversation with a friend about. And I think it's something that a lot of people who are entering transition should be very mindful of, because I have learned the hard way, and I don't even really think I have fully learned my lesson yet. I'm trying to do something about that, but in the interest of not being all elusive, let's get started. When you enter transition, it's a big deal. I know I'm telling you, go do it. If it's what you want, do it, and I totally stand by that, 100%. I'm not you, I can't make your choices. You can justify not doing it in a multitude of ways, I'm sure. I know that I tried to do that for years and years and years, and that finally I accepted it wasn't working and I wouldn't be happy unless I did it, so I'm doing it. But when you do it, it's a big deal. It's not easy. There are a million different steps and millions of things you have to go through that most people don't have to go through. And the knowledge of that, and that sort of sense of isolation you get when you realize that most of the people, if not all of the people in your life, cannot understand the way you feel and cannot understand what you're going through, makes you realize that you have to focus. The only way you're going to get through transition is focus. And you have to focus on yourself. And now, okay, I'm going to say this. Human nature is to be self-centered. I don't necessarily think that to a certain degree being self-centered is a bad thing, because, like I've said, the only person responsible for your happiness is you. And the only person who you can really count on to watch your back and look out for your best interests is you. And that's because you're the only person who deep down really knows what those are. Because other people might think they know what they are, but they don't. Or they might not. Who knows? You do. That's who knows. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but unless somebody is, like, obsessed with you and thinks they're in love with you, but it's a really unhealthy situation, or they're your mom or your dad, basically, if they say to you that your best interests are more important to them than their own, they're lying. That's just the way it is. Maybe they can be even then I think that's kind of a long shot, but more important? No, I just don't believe that. Human beings are self-centered creatures. The problem is that when you enter transition, you're like, oh my god, I have to go through this and this and this, and nobody really understands around you, unless you have a lot of trans friends, which is awesome, and which is why having trans friends that you identify with and who you get along with is so important. It's a really important part of the process to find other trans people, especially trans people who are a little bit further ahead in the process than you are, but also people who you would be friends with if they weren't trans and if you weren't trans. It can't all be based upon that. Your life in general can't be about being transgender. And that's kind of the point of what I'm talking about. It's totally understandable that every time you see your friends once you started transitioning, you're going to want to talk about the doctor's appointments and the hormones and the body changes and your fears and your excitement and your goals and your thought processes and everything that you're going through. But what you have to remember is that this is all relative and that other people are going through other things too. And you may think, well, their problem is not as big as my problem. And maybe in the grand scheme of things, what you're going through is a lot more complicated and a lot more unique, I guess, than what most people go through. But they're going through things too that are hard or exciting or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, like, I have always been sort of the type of person who likes attention and likes to be in the spotlight and likes you just can't shut me up, which some of you have probably noticed. But when I started transitioning, a lot of my friendships have suffered, and I have had to work really hard on the ones that are really, really important to start rebuilding them. There are some that I haven't put as much work into rebuilding, and that's not because they're not important, it's because they're with people where they don't take it as personally, and while they may have been offended by my selfishness, I think that they are understanding and will be, like, open to me trying to remedy that. What's really important to remember is that I can only speak from my experience. I remember telling my parents that I wanted to be a girl or was supposed to be a girl when I was like 3. I have felt this way my entire life. There were times when I put it in the back of my mind or suppressed it or forgot about it. Not really, but on a surface level, yes. But it was always there. Every night before I fell asleep, wishing that I had a fairy godmother, praying to God to change me into a girl. Just, you know what I'm saying. I have felt this way my whole life. But it was still hard to let go of the past and of the present. It was still hard to let go of my old name and of the identity I had had to build based on the expectations of society or parents or teachers or friends or other family. And I had 21 years to go over it in my head and prepare myself. And what you have to remember is that even with all that time and all that experience and feeling the way you have, it was not easy. Or probably not easy. So think of what it's like for the people in your life. It's new to them. They don't have that experience. And they're not used to thinking about it all the time. So when you're finally like, oh, I'm gonna do it, they're like, oh my God. And they have to go through what you just went through for your entire life leading up to that moment when you decided to transition. And you kind of have to let them or lose them. And it's hard because when you're excited, you want everyone to be excited for you, but it's not that easy. You just really need to remember what you went through and let other people go through it. It won't take them 20 years. I promise you. Some people will never accept you, and those people you have to cut out of your life because that's not love. Love is unconditional. And if they place conditions on their love, then they don't love you. And that's really hard to accept sometimes, especially if it's family, but it's like, it's true, I'm sorry. If they cannot accept you, they don't love you. They love a lie. They love who they want you to be, not who you are. But I think there are a lot of trans people who end up having to sort of move away and start a new life, and I think that while some of them, it may be because they really can't be accepted by the social circle or the family that they're in, I bet you a lot of the time it's not because the people in their life can't accept the fact that they're transgender and accept their new identity or their true identity. It's because they can't accept the person that they love turning into a selfish bitch. And I'd say that's pretty fair. And like I said, like, you know, I became immersed in my own little world, and I was really depressed for a while. And now that I'm actually starting to do things that, my mom was just like, I can't believe you're making YouTube videos without any makeup on, with your face swollen out to here. And I was like, you're right. Like, a few months ago, I wouldn't leave my house without fake eyelashes on. Do you know what I'm saying? But I just had the surgery, and I feel more beautiful than I ever have because it's coming from within. And I feel less self-absorbed just from having each step I take. It becomes less of an issue in my mind, and the capacity to care more about other people's lives is returning to me. because I'm not depressed, and when you're depressed, all you care about is yourself. And it's not just a trans thing. People who are depressed because they're overweight are always thinking about their weight and are always thinking about themselves. People who are depressed because they're poor are always thinking about how they're poor and always thinking about themselves. And the difference is, if you stop thinking about how you're poor and go out and find a better job, your whole life changes. But if all you do is think about how you're poor, then all you're calling into your life is more poorness. The energy you focus on is the energy you get back. Law of Attraction, another really good book. Like, if all you think is, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, you're going to stay fat. Live your life as though you're already the person that you want to be. And it'll come true. That's how it works. Totally. So if you want to be like a plastic man-eating super bitch who treats everyone like shit and doesn't have any real friends, then continue to act like that. Because I've been there. But that's not what I want. I just want to be Cadence. And the fact of the matter is, Cadence is somewhere a blend of this image I created in my mind, which had some negative attributes and some positive attributes, and who I was when I was that scared, lost, little, what people perceive to be, boy. There were some great things about that boy. And I'm trying to carry those things through. The things that were bad about that boy were bad because she didn't love herself. Because she thought she had to be a boy. But she didn't. And she's not. And I already feel happier. I already have stronger relationships with my friends for realizing this, and that's really important, because your support system in transition is everything. And remember, those people, even the people who aren't trans, they may not ever really understand, but God help them, they try. Tell them you love them, and tell them how much you appreciate it, because I hope you appreciate it. Like I said, remember how hard it was for you, and think how hard it must be for them. They have memories and love and emotions tied up in you just like you did. And you have to give them time to let go and let you spread your wings. And I guarantee you, if you give them the time and you have patience, that they'll be flying right there next to you the whole way. Most of the time. And that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. Okay, I'm off. I have to go. I'm getting my nose splint taken off. Totally gross side note. My stitch right here in my mouth totally popped open, and my skin's like flopping open. So I'm kind of scared about what they're going to say about that, because it's really disgusting and really scary. And I know they can't re-stitch it, because it's been too long now. We'll see how that goes. Thank God it's not really in a visible place, but still kind of dodgy. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a few hours when I upload my next video. I love how I'm looking at my wrist like I'm wearing a watch when I'm totally not wearing a watch. Oh God. Get it together. Okay, bye.